Okay, guys, so welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a really quick introduction to the wire wheel here today as we continue our restoration of the Craftsman 3.5-inch vise. So here you can see my Teco capacitor start externally reversible ball bearing motor. This is a previous restoration project that I did to get myself acclimatized and accustomed to restoring induction motors. This is probably it's got to be like close to the 10th one that I've done like motor, uh, but probably the fourth one about this size. So just wanted to get myself like some work pieces and then turn them into useful tools. So this is a half horsepower 1750 RPM motor, which means that it is a low speed motor, which is what you want for a wire wheel. Most of the motors that you're going to find like this are actually 3750, something up in that range. It's 3000 something. And those go way too fast. Those are for like grinders, maybe really high speed buffing or something like that. But if you tried to put a wire wheel on that, you're going to be going like a million miles an hour. So you want something that's low speed, low RPM, if you're going to do a project like this. I also I I mounted it to the board, right? That's me. I put the feet on the board, just so that it would be stable and wouldn't want to move around too much. Um, and this is a vintage style electrical box, and I just did a regular light switch on it just because it says on off. That's all I wanted. That's all I needed. I know it's not up to code. I know I should have like a emergency stop. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm the only one that's going to be using this tool, so I'm fine with it. I had to replace the capacitor. I had to replace both bearings. That's a tricky job. You don't necessarily want to start up a motor like this uh, dry and ruin it. But when I started this one up the first time, it sounded like a beluga whale, and now she purrs like a little kitten. But she got a little rattle on the box up at the top, but that's not something that I'm worried about. But the uh, the extension here on the arbor is also an additional thing that you have to purchase if you're going to do a project like this, and you have to make sure that the threading of the nut is in the correct direction so that you're not going to just like undo it when you start putting pressure against the wire wheel. So that's something that you have to pay attention to. The price difference in each of the arbor extensions is also different, so you got to watch out for that and make sure that you get something that's going to actually fit the tools that you're going to be putting onto it. So just that's just my little rundown of this little project that I did in the past and what we're going to be using for basically all of my wire wheeling, steel brush, wire brush uh, activities in the future. So, with saying that, I will now switch over to showing you what we are going to be putting on the wire wheel today. I'm not actually going to show me actually doing it because it's just loud and noisy and messy, and I'd have to do a bunch of camera setup, which I'm not interested in doing. But I will give you a little before and after shots of what this is capable of doing for me, and not that long, not that much time. It'll take me like 5 minutes of time on this once I've actually got it set up, and we'll be back. But I just before I go, I will let you guys hear it one time. I know it's not too loud, but I put so much work into it, and she runs pretty nice now. So she used to sound like a beluga whale, and this is how she sounds now. That rattle is just this up at the top. You also hear when it starts up, has like an initial start, that little click. That's there's like a flywheel mechanism on the inside that has to open up with centrifugal force to allow the electricity to run at a particular rate once it starts up. That's why it has the capacitor, right? It has to like get the initial boost enough to push it to start it, and so that's what the capacitor does. It gets the initial oomph into it, and then once it does that, it starts spinning up, and then the flywheel opens up, and that's what allows it to keep running at a more uh, reasonable rate. We'll just put it that way, because the initial jolt is quite a bit. So just wanted to give you the little quick rundown of what we'll be using here on the channel and what you should look for. If you're going to look for something to do a little project like this cost me 40 bucks. I probably put another 20 to 40 worth of work into it, and then I had to buy the attachments. But now I've got a tool that's going to last me the rest of my life, and I know it inside and out. I know everything about this. I know how to fix it. I know everything. So good to go. So with that said, I will switch it over to our before shots and our inspection of the device, and then we will get to the after. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my pieces assembled for brushing on the wire wheel from our Craftsman 3.5-inch vise. The main pieces that I'm going to be concerned with are these jaws here. So this is our before shot of the jaws. Little paint left on them, lots of gunk. I did write on the back of them uh, which side is which direction goes where. I'll probably still hit the back a little bit with the wheel, and then I'll just rewrite that on it just so I can remember where everything goes. But that's our main pieces that I'm concerned about. I will hit the anvil section of the vise a little bit with it. And then also on the handle here, there's just a little bit of ghosting discoloration. I'll try to hit that. I just wanted to show you also here. This is the handle that had all the pitting. It was really weird, but what I did was I just took, and you can see like up at the top there, as I turn it, that little raised part that comes up. All I do is I look for those, and then I take one of these, which is a wooden nail file. It's a 7-inch wooden nail file. I look for the raised point. There we go. Like that, and then I would take it and I would just hit it across the top just slightly, just to try to take down all the points. The reason I did that is because if I used sandpaper to try to smooth it all out, all I would do is just scratch up all of the nice other finish on the rest of the handle. Right, try to get the focus. There we go. So then it would just look worse. I would make it look worse, but because this is flat, right, it means that I can angle it at just the right angle so that all I'm taking off, right, see if I can get it to focus. All I'm taking off is just those little tips, right? Just the little tops of things, right? As I go around. And I'm not scratching up the rest of my finish. So that has allowed this to now travel much more freely in between there. It used to go like chunk, 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 and you had to turn it out to get it through. So there we go. I also have here this bolt, just a little bit of surface rust on there. This one's fine. Like this one has like basically nothing on it that I'm worried about. It's going to be hidden anyways. These ones are the ones that secure the jaw into the face of the vise. And they have just a little bit of like kind of, you know, more obvious on this one, I guess. Right, a little bit of rust and corrosion on there. So what I'm going to do is I get to use Grandpa's favorite tool, the old slip joint pliers. These are probably the oldest set of slip joints that I own, and I think they might have even been handmade. I can't even tell. They've got a slotted screwdriver end on one end. They feel really nice in the hand. But the reason I like them is because I have multiple size options. I can take something like that and hold it under the wire wheel with a lot of pressure, not have to worry about my fingers. And I can also take something like this and get a bigger size so that I can get a better grip. Right? There we go. So that's why I like using these and what I like using them for. I keep them all around. I keep them next to me here in the shop, and anytime I'm doing wire wheeling, that's like their number one. That's why they're so shiny at the tip. But there we go. So I'm gonna go hit these on the wire wheel. Give you one last before, and we'll come back with the after. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so just wanted to show you a really quick side by side here because I had the opportunity to show you what the before, right, kind of condition is versus an after. With just about, that was probably about 2 minutes. 2 minutes on the wire wheel. Right, like, right? Quite the difference, right? It's not perfect because it's obviously had some work done on the jaws, like done with this vise before. So like the jaws are a little bit like gun, like this is marring, right? Like this is just regular use, but they're clean otherwise, right? So versus what a dirty one looks like, right? So I'm gonna go get the other one cleaned up, and we'll come back and show you all the other parts too. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, and here you can see our final result on the jaws. Real nice and shiny. I didn't even have to rewrite what it said because I can still just make it out barely. But yeah, really quick, really easy, 2-minute job for each of them, and we are back to basically factory new again on those. And then we've got here, those are the mounting screws now. All right, just nice and clean, ready to go back in. I did touch up the head of this bolt because it had just a little bit of corrosion on it. There we go. It's looking very nice now, right? And last but not least, we have our bright, shiny, almost brand spanking new anvil. And man, you can't do much better than that, right? So just all I did, the only two things that ever touched this was a razor blade to take off the worst of it, and then the wire wheel. And that's the result that we got out of that. So pretty happy with that. So we are now ready for reassembly, which I am going to do in a following video because I think that'll be more fun for you guys that way, and we can keep these two topics separate, the wire wheel and our final assembly. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed just seeing what you can do with, you know, a little bit of elbow grease and ingenuity, and some stuff that you can find probably at your local Habitat thrift store or even Craigslist online. Check out, try and find yourself an induction motor. They're not that hard to fix up, and we'll do some more of those here on the channel too at some point. So if you like what you see, give me a like, comment, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff, and we will see you next time for the reassembly of our Craftsman 3.5-inch vise. And just keep cruising, guys. We'll see you here on the channel. All right, have a good one.